Michigan and Prohibition.
Prohibition was America's grand experiment in moral rectitude, wherein the nation resolved to elevate its citizenry by foisting sobriety upon them or, at the very least, nudging them toward that direction. The 18th Amendment made its dramatic entrance in 1920 with all the subtlety of a rhinoceros brandishing a gavel and shattering America's raucous revelries. Enter Detroit, a metropolis that embraced bootlegging with the enthusiasm of a fish discovering water. This was all thanks to its secretive partner in crime, the Windsor-Detroit Funnel, the key smuggling route where bootleg alcohol was transported from Canada into Michigan across the Detroit River and surrounding waterways. Michigan wasn't late to the temperance movement by any means. By 1916, it had banned alcohol long before the rest of the country. Michiganders fired up with determination and passed statewide prohibition, leaving only the memory of empty glasses. But what a mistake that turned out to be, as it was like they had given a thirsty population an underground market of secret stashes of booze, leading to the surprising and shocking transformation of Detroit. In no time, the Great Lakes region morphed into a high-stakes game of hide and seek. As Ohio tightened its prohibitionist noose in 1919, Michigan's bootleggers, ever the opportunists, cast their gaze northward to our somewhat unruly Canadian neighbors. And there it was, the Windsor-Detroit Funnel, a key player in this thrilling game, where smuggling evolved into a refined art form. This funnel was the Las Vegas Strip of the illicit liquor world, a liquid highway through which contraband flowed. Smugglers, ever the inventors, deftly transported their wares across the Detroit River and Lake St. Clair, converting winter's icy expanses into a frosty conduit for alcohol. Picture a black and white silent film where shadowy figures glide across frozen lakes, dragging sleds laden with whiskey. This was Detroit's winter wonderland, an ironic twist on its temperance-driven ethos. By 1929, the Detroit city was famed not only for its automotive ingenuity, but also for its thriving rum-running industry. The underground economy flourished, supported by countless speakeasies where the populace could surreptitiously enjoy illicit libations. The city had changed into a criminal carnival, with the Purple Gang, notorious architects of vice, reigning supreme with their iron-fisted control, adding a layer of intensity to the era. An alcohol ban's promise of moral uplift was as credible as a $3 bill. The very policies intended to curb crime spawned a criminal underworld rife with violence. Consider, if you will, the Collingwood Manor Massacre of 1931, a chilling tableau that turned Detroit into a grim parable on the folly of legislating morality. 3 Chicago gunmen were murdered for betraying the Purple Gang. The victims had fled Chicago after crossing Al Capone and joined the Purple Gang in Detroit, only to turn against them by hijacking members and trying to take control of the city's underworld. After failing to pay their debts, Ray Bernstein of the Purple Gang set up a trap, leading to their murder in an apartment at Collingwood Manor. The perpetrators were arrested and convicted, signaling the downfall of the Purple Gang. One of the shooters who initially escaped later turned himself in, but the case against him was dismissed when a key eyewitness could not be found. As the Great Depression tightened its grip, even the most steadfast booze abstainers had to concede that perhaps prohibition was a misstep. The economic strain illuminated the absurdity of denying the public the financial advantages of a legal alcohol trade. In a rare moment of legislative clarity, Michigan repealed its prohibition laws and became the first state to ratify the 21st Amendment, thus ending the national booze ban on December 5, 1933. It was as though the nation collectively realized that unemployment and crime were far less appealing than the occasional pint of beer. Examining Detroit's prohibition era through the lens of the Windsor-Detroit Funnel isn't merely an academic pursuit, it's a vivid illustration of the folly of legislating morality. This historical episode reveals the dangerous unpredictability of well-intentioned laws and their capacity to devolve into chaos. As we grapple with our social policies and debates today, Detroit's audacious liquor smuggling is a cautionary ballad to the complexities of enforcing moral codes in a free society.
You've just endured a thrilling snippet of the RPTM podcast. We sincerely hope our comedic genius left you in stitches, and of course, we're crossing our fingers that we've also brought a tear or two to your eye. And hold on to your hats, because if your brain cells are still intact after this roller coaster, consider gracing us with a sacred thumbs up. If that's not enough, give that subscribe button a whack. We wouldn't want you to miss out on the riveting sagas we've lined up.